Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. How is everyone doing today? I am taking you on a walk with me, getting some sun. Let me take my sunglasses off so y'all can see me. I was taking just a little bit of a walk before it gets too hot because I live in Texas where it gets really quite warm in the middle of the day, and my ginger kid skin cannot handle the direct sunlight very long. So anyway, you guys are walking with me. We're gonna walk, we're gonna talk, we're gonna learn. So the last few days I've been teaching in my Divine Pleasure Kings men's group. It's my free group, and we've been doing a challenge. And the first day we talked about the masculine energy, and yesterday we really hit on purpose and what it is to uprise as a boss. Uprise as a boss in our lives, in the men's lives. And so during that point, I was reading some information by David Dita, who I absolutely adore David Dita. Some of his books and his writings have really been quite inspirational to me on my own tantric journey. So as many of you know, I'm a Tantric Practitioner, orgasm frequency coach, all of that jazz. And in one point, in one of his writings, he discusses the beginner's mindset. And it really took me back to the beginning of my own journey as a Tantric Practitioner. And that hunger, the true hunger I had at one point, and I still can tap into that feeling, but this beginner's mindset around it of thinking I knew so much, but also at the same time, really being quite childish in my outlook, in that I was very hungry. I was incredibly hungry for knowledge. And as my mentor spoke, or as I was reading a book, or I was getting an energy work session, I remember being like a little sponge and taking it all in. And then obviously years and years down the road, there's much I've learned. But one of the things and the lessons I really learned, and it really supports my beliefs around orgasmic frequency, is that we must learn to harness that energy. And I don't want to call it childlike viewpoint, because I think a lot of people take that in the wrong way. They take it as you must be childish. And there's some beauty in children. Children are hungry for knowledge. They are willing to explore and get curious, especially about new things in their lives. But as we age, we shut it down. We shut down this beginner's mindset a lot of times, and we think we know it all. So I remember, it's probably a year and a half ago, I was in a workshop, and I remember sitting there and going, I know this. It was a tantric workshop. I think it was an energy workshop, and I was like, I know this. And I had to stop myself, and I was like, you're not being very tantric right now. You're not being teachable and coachable right now. Because I thought I knew it. I was like, I know this. I got in my ego. Yep, I do it too sometimes. So I was like, I know this. I don't need to hear this. And I had to stop myself, and I had to go, what can you learn? Where can you get curious? Where can you dive deeper? And I bring this up today because I think on our journey, whether that's in the bedroom, whether that is in the boardroom, whether that's in a relationship with somebody outside of the bedroom kind of situation, outside of our intimate partner, do you take the time to slow down and ask yourself if you really know it all, and get incredibly curious about that other thing or that other person? to step outside of your ego and go, do I really know it all? Do I really know it all? Because that's an incredibly egoic statement. In my couples coaching, when I am working with couples, I don't work with a ton of couples because I love watching the individual grow, but occasionally I will work with couples. And when I'm working with those couples, a lot of times, especially the ones who have been together for a very, very long time, they'll be like, oh, I know her. I know what she likes, I know what she doesn't like, or I know what he likes, I know what he doesn't like. I know him. And I always challenge them, because to think we know another person at that level where we think we know them better than they know themselves is an issue. It's an issue. It is not staying open. It is not staying in this space of learning and exploring and that excitement. And that's what I'm really getting at. To be in the orgasmic frequency requires us to be able to step into that joy, that excitement, that blissful space with something or someone. And when we think we know somebody, we know everything about that person, we know how they're going to act, we know how they're going to react, we know what their intentions are, we start placing our know-it all on someone else, we shut that relationship down. We shut that orgasmic frequency down. The same goes for your relationship with money, your relationship in the bedroom. Like when it comes to sex, I hear people, I know what sex is, I know where the G-spot is, I know where that is, I know where that is. And I always question them, because when we think we know it all, we stop learning. We stop engaging. We stop opening our mindset. And it is pretty often that well, not pretty often, but occasionally that I really have to step back and go, step into that childlike viewpoint, step into that beginner's mindset with even something I know, something that I've learned over the years, because there's always something more to learn. There's always somewhere else to step into. There's no depth to our sex. There's no depth to our expansion. And when we get into this know-it-all mode, we get into this idea that we are determining somebody else's perspective, their viewpoint, who they are, above what they're saying. And I don't think that made sense. But when we are basically think we know another person, or we know our work, or we know all there is to know in life, it's when we really do shut it down. And I talk so much about the orgasmic frequency, and you get into a space of boredom, and some people call it peace. It's a very thin line. If you know anything about law of attraction, you know that peace and boredom are just opposites, ends of the coin. And it's a dangerous line to sit on very long. Like, you can have peace, but there also has to be other emotions going on. And so it's not that we can't own the things that we've learned, the wisdom that we've gained. It's not that we can't act from those spaces. But to think we know it all is dangerous. And so my challenge and my reason for really bringing this to you today is because it is important to step back into that. Like I, a year and a half ago, had to really step back into, there's more to learn here. And I really had to slow myself down. And there was a lot of times I meditated and I really got into that energy of my younger self. That self that was so excited and so hungry and like a freaking sponge when it came to learning Tantra and exploring it and diving deep into all the juiciness of it. I really had to step back into that energy. And in stepping back into that energy, I was then able to step back into that childlike viewpoint. And with that, my life became more orgasmic. My frequency rose. I got really curious, and life got interesting. My business got more interesting. And so I'm not going to ask you to look at your entire life today, but I am going to ask you to pick one piece of your life, whether it's business, a relationship, your sex, some aspect that you want to feel more orgasmic in. And I want you to purposely, I want you to get into your masculine energy here. I want you to purposely focus in on getting curious, and then step into your feminine energy and go with the flow of things. Yes, sorry, I'm moving you guys around as I dance around. I want you to step into getting into that flow of things in your world and really having that viewpoint, even just for 10 minutes. And I promise you, you will learn something. You will gain something. And then I want you to expand it out to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then eventually you're going to be going throughout your day and going, wow, I'm really curious about that. I'm really curious about that. I'm curious about that perspective that that person has. I'm really curious about, how this new project at work, how I can improve it. It's exciting. It's not stressful. It's exciting. So that is one of the beautiful keys of the orgasmic frequency. And it definitely is something I've learned along my tantric journey. Because I remember even in the beginning of my tantric journey thinking I knew so much. And I look back and I'm like, oh, you are so pretty. You're so cute. Like at my old videos and stuff, because they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad, but I was so excited about it that it didn't matter. And I was speaking from my heart, so it didn't matter. And it is about taking that energy and really bringing it into the now, bringing in that curiosity, bringing in that excitement. So I hope you can do that. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this topic. I would love to hear them. What's something that has lost its zest for you and that you intend on getting more curious about? You intend on stepping into more of those childlike eyes. I would love to hear it. I love hearing from you guys. And then, as always, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you know where to find me, addisonbell.net. We still have one more day left of the Divine Pleasure Kings 3-day challenge, which is Man in the Mirror challenge. And today we're going to be talking about the feminine and the bedroom. So we're going to be talking about how to work with your woman and how to really step up in the bedroom. And so you can still follow that challenge. You can still watch the replays, but you have to go join the group. So I will put a link to the group below when I finish my walk. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you soon for another Addison Unleashed. Bye, guys.